Learning to diet is not the same as learning to eat. Dieting, for whatever reason somebody wants to diet, comes with a set of rules, is built on following rules. Eating is built on trust. Whereas dieting, the intention is for weight loss, that is the focus. With eating that's built on trust, the intention is nourishment. And seeking nourishment, whether or not it's going to lead to body change or weight loss, is what's key. And this is a hill I will die on, that the two are not the same. And a lot of folks will utilize dieting as a way to learn to eat. And this is not to say that it can't happen, but again, those guardrails or that inevitable desire for the outcome of losing weight, that's going to always drive the eating. And therefore, it becomes, should I, based on these rules, versus can I, based on how my body feels. And oftentimes with dieting, ignoring how the body feels because it's driven by all kinds of things is takes precedence. So in other words, with dieting, you learn to ignore your body. With learning to eat, you learn or have to learn to understand your body. And most times, when you take dieting off of the table, it becomes far more trustworthy. It becomes something that is flexible. It becomes something that you can live with. The problem with that I have with dieting, and again, this is me not bashing it per se, more like me just sharing my thoughts on it, but also my experience with it. And I do not pursue it. I no longer pursue it. This is not to say that I'm never tempted by it, because one, I'm a woman. Two, I am in the perimenopausal stage. So I am experiencing body changes, and a lot of the changes are baffling and, quite frankly, sometimes just not comfortable, especially when you spend majority of your adult life trying to maintain your body in a certain way, for it to look a certain way, and of course societal pressure to stay good or to look young or to whatever the case might be. So this is, I'm not without any influence or temptation to want to participate in weight loss, but having let that go, or having divorced from that goal of shrinking my body or losing weight in general, I've been able to quiet the food noise. And I don't know if you hear this, but you will hear that word a lot, especially now with the prevalence and rise of GLP-1s. You will hear a lot of folks, or you'll see a lot of folks talk about it quieting the food noise. And this is not me dismissing that. I'm not an expert in it, but from just my lived experience and interaction with folks who have had what they call food noise, or who have it, myself having had it, I had it the most when I was dieting. Because every single time I ate, the focus was, or the aim of eating was to eat low calorie or burn high calories, or burn the calories I ate. And so you stay forever on this seesaw or hamster wheel of every single thing you're eating. The intention is to control your body. And a lot of things, at times, people turn to dieting, women in particular, turn to dieting, in my experience, turn to dieting when you're losing control in other areas of your life. And I can also speak to personal experience. Controlling your body is something you have control over. Changing your body is something you have control over. And when you can do that, it's very, I don't want to use the word liberating. I just want to use the word motivating, inspiring, for want of a better word. And so you pursue it. You get compliments, and it seems like a good thing. And again, I'm not knocking those who choose to pursue it, but I want to invite, or yeah, I want to invite the curiosity around why it is necessary. And for me, having divorced from dieting and focusing on weight loss, it's made me better able to one, understand my body, two, have a better relationship with food. And that means understanding food for what it is. It is complex. It is not just fuel. It is so many things. It's culture. It's community. It is friendship. It is love languages. It is. It's just a variety of things. That's what food is, and it should not be reduced to what it has been reduced to or what I see it being reduced to, because ain't nothing more distressing to me nowadays than seeing somebody talk about low calorie this. And I'm like, if I spend all this time eating low calorie, and you have the low energy, but you have the banging body, like, does that make sense? So I don't engage in it. And I'm talking about it because it's very central, or it's very key for you to understand that your body is going to look however it looks. Your body is going to change, especially if you're a woman. It's not a matter of if, it's when it will change. And when you get into the perimenopausal years, which starts from as early as in your 30s, to menopause, which starts as early as some people go through menopause early in life, like late 40s, early 50s. And when you get to that stage of life and your body is doing all these things because hormones are changing, when you add the food noise and the rigidity around food into the mix, it makes for a tiring experience. So for me, releasing that desire to pursue ways and accept my body for where it is and for what it can do has made things easier for me. And of course, I am not dismissing, or I am not acknowledging the fact that weight stigma is real, and so the pressures to always pursue weight loss is very real, and I'm not dismissing that. And there's privilege in being able to not focus on weight loss. Honestly, there is, because you have a lot of folks who don't necessarily have to think about it, or aren't seen any differently if they don't pursue it. But then you have folks living in bodies that are ostracized and talked about and all kinds of things. And it gets to the heart of these people. It gets to the heart of who they are. And it attacks the insecurities, and it attacks so many things that make us as women question ourselves. So for me, in sharing this, I just want to say that giving yourself permission to exist as you are means nourishing yourself as you are. That's something that I practice, and I invite you to also practice. But ask yourself, what does nourishment look like? Because the reality is too, is that we eat for a variety of reasons. We don't eat just because we are hungry. You might be sitting and be bored and you eat. That's not necessarily a bad thing. You might be having an emotional day and you reach for something. That's not necessarily a bad thing. You might be sad and you reach for some food. It might be a coping mechanism. And while a lot of negativity is often attached to doing these things, I think if we attach compassion and grace to it more, we could understand ourselves better, and therefore take different actions and take different steps. So having healthier coping tools, and I use the word healthier here loosely because, again, reaching for something when you're feeling emotional or sad or whatever the case might be isn't necessarily a bad thing. It might not be an unhealthy thing. It might be a necessary thing, because in that moment, that's what your body is asking for. We will not always have the capacity to say, I'm angry today, or I'm hungry, or I'm emotional today, and therefore I'm coping through this, or I'm coping through food. We might not have that capacity some days to be able to understand that or make that distinction and therefore take different steps. So we have to give ourselves grace and we have to be compassionate with ourselves. And of course, you're going to be the people who talk about where tough love is, whatnot. You don't know what people have got through. Screw it. Like, you don't know. So who are you to be judge and jury about what other people do with their food or how people choose to interact with food? Focus on yourself. Don't focus on other people. Like, this is for the people who, not that they'll be watching this, but it's for the people who are quick to judge somebody else. Like, if she would do this, if she would eat a salad, maybe she would be less fat. Do you see how insensitive that is? Like, your fat phobia is showing, right? Because we all live in different kinds of bodies. So I go back to food and what it means or how it can be used. I choose to use food. Yes, it is a source of nourishment for me. It's also a source of creativity for me. It's a source of care for me. It's a tool by which I express myself because I take pretty photos. I like to put them together. I like to see a pretty bowl. I like when people enjoy the food that I share, but also feed them. So, in order for you to get to a place where you can interact with food without it taking over your day, taking over your headspace, and this is not to say don't think about food, but I'm saying not let food be the thing that drives your actions. Let food be something, let food be something that you can incorporate into the things that you do. You can go to a birthday party, see the food, and be okay if you eat some or if or choose not to. Um, be able to decide when you're hungry or choose what to eat when you're hungry as opposed to feeling like you must eat something because you're never going to get it again because of whatever food rules you might be following. So I honestly think I'm rambling, but I just want to underscore the point that you are not going to get to a place with food where it is a neutral thing. And by neutral, I mean it's not something you're going to judge yourself by. It's not a moral decision. Your food decisions, that is, aren't moral decisions. And therefore, you're going to, determine your worth by how much or how little you eat. And dieting has tendency to do that because a lot of folks in a lot of the spaces that they're in inadvertently do this. Like, you're lazy if you choose to eat a cupcake versus an apple. Because people will say, well, you're not hungry if you can't eat an apple. Like, if you want candy and you can't eat an apple in substitution, then you're not really hungry. You're just bored or whatever other thing. Like, talk about putting morality, attaching morality to food. We have to stop that. Seriously. But there's so much nuance to this conversation, and I'm not claiming to be an expert. I'm sorry. I need to drink some water. But learning to diet again is not the same as learning to eat. It's one thing wanting to understand what you're eating, which you can do. You can take pictures of the food so you can compile it and see whether or not you're eating more or less of a certain thing. You can, maybe you want to track whether or not you're eating enough protein. Maybe you're going to work with a nutritionist or a dietitian that's going to help you build a plan that allows you to eat so that you have the energy, so that you don't have the brain fog, so that you can get strong if you're somebody that wants to build strength, so that you can navigate any particular life, any particular condition that you might be faced with. For example, having high cholesterol or rising cholesterol, or maybe your blood sugar is something that needs to be monitored and watched. So working with a professional, and through that work means taking stock. That is a different thing from dieting, because it's one thing to take stock and it's another thing to say, oh, I'm just going to cut these foods out because it needs to lead to weight loss. A lot of times you dismiss what your body needs for that objective. That's you. That's fine. And honestly, I'm not judging you. But I want to put it to you that if that's your first step to understanding how you eat, what you eat, why you eat, then also understand that it may lead you down a path that makes things worse if they don't bring the awareness that you need, which means if you're not losing the weight, then, and you're attached to that, then having the awareness doesn't matter. The attachment to whether or not the weight is changing is the thing that does. And therefore, what you do after that, or what you do, is going to always be driven by that. So, learning to eat means understanding the role of food in your life, meaning understanding food itself, how the different aspects of food, so the macronutrients, for example, know why you're eating protein, know what carbs are for, know what healthy fats do, know what role fiber plays, that type of thing. Understanding those things and how that plays into your life. So if you're trying to handle certain conditions, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, those types of things, then the role food plays in helping you manage those things is important. And therefore, yeah, you want to take stock of those things, whether you track it in the real sense of the word, or you're just loosely taking stock or loosely becoming more aware. So whether taking pictures, writing it down, whatever the case may be. I'm not going to push a particular lifestyle way of doing it, whether you want to, or particular diet, rather. I'm not going to push that, or a particular way to eat. What I'm just going to suggest is understand why you eat the way you eat, or understand why you react to food or interact with food the way you do. If you have ADHD, then something like working with somebody to help you understand how that plays into you eating, under eating, and or overeating. Other mental health conditions might impact your eating as well. So it's not just food too, it's other things. It's what's happening in your life. So again, I go back to my original statement. If you are trying to learn to eat, it's not the same thing as dieting. You don't need to go on a diet to learn how to eat. And learning how to eat to nourish yourself doesn't always lead to the quote body changes or to weight loss. It can just lead to your body feeling differently, you moving better, you having less brain fog, you having more energy, your skin changing, clearing up, that kind of thing. So that's where I'm at today. That's all I've got. And kind of thank you. Not kind of, I do thank you for showing up. I hope my ramblings really got through to you today, or you heard what I said. If there's something that resonated with you, I would really love to engage with you in the comments. So please go right ahead, leave a comment, let me know what resonated with you. If you're somebody who believes this, or you're somebody who doesn't. I am genuinely interested in this entire conversation. So I'd love to hear what you've got to say. Let me know. All right. Bye bye.